This episode is brought to you by the Toyota Grand Highlander. Life's journey brings constant change filled with exciting surprises and grand challenges. And with its spaciousness, power, and style, the Toyota Grand Highlander is more than a vehicle. It's your partner in embracing all life throws at you. From the spacious adult-sized third row to seating for up to 8 passengers, the Toyota Grand Highlander is up for every grand challenge. Learn more at toyota.com/Grand Highlander. Toyota, let's go places.
Good night, itchy eyes. Good night, sudden sneeze. Good night to your symptoms of allergies. Zysol is the allergy medicine you take before bed. It provides powerful relief while you rest your head. Not just all night, but all the next day. Zysol keeps working, keeping allergies at bay. And without those annoying symptoms disturbing your rest, you can wake up the next morning feeling your absolute best. Remember, be wise all. Take Zysol. At night.
The sad story of Letty, a 16-year-old girl who ends her life in terrible circumstances, and that her spirit asks for help. Welcome to the first episode of the Chronicles of the Unexplained podcast. The story I'm gonna tell you happened to me many years ago. Out of respect for my friend and the people involved in this story, I won't say the real names. In 1989, I was living in a small town in northern Mexico. My house was located just a few blocks from the main entrance of the municipal cemetery and right in front of the only street that had access to it. Next to my house lived Letty. She was not only my neighbor, but also my friend. We managed to make a nice friendship, because she was only a year older than me. At that time, I was in 9th grade. She was in 10th. Her parents got divorced. She lived with her mother and only brother. It's worth mentioning that Letty, my friend, was Catholic, unlike her mother. Letty's mother was a very well-known teacher and didn't believe in God. Letty used to invite me to Mass, especially during Easter. Since she was a devoted Catholic, we used to go to Mass every day of the week leading up to Easter. In Mexico, it's known as the Holy Week. Letty's mom used to tell us, when you all grow up, you will realize that God doesn't exist. However, Letty, my friend, used to tell me not to pay attention to her mom's comments. Letty was already 16 years old and had already been given permission to have her first boyfriend. She was excited about her boyfriend, a sweet and caring boy named Santiago. But she had always been deeply in love with another boy. It was her platonic love. On the fateful day when she decided to leave this world, I arrived as usual from school with a friend named Armida. She was an exchange partner who would stay at my house for a few days for a volleyball tournament. When we arrived at the house, Letty was out with her dog, whose name was Clown. Briefly, we exchanged words. She asked me if we could go out in the afternoon after dinner to talk. I said yes, and that I would bring my friend who was visiting at home. About 7 o'clock in the evening, while we were in the kitchen eating dinner, somebody knocks on the door. I see through the window was Letty's boyfriend. I opened the door and I see immediately his worried face. He asks, "Have you seen Letty?" I said that saw her earlier, but we only said hi. "What's going on?" To which he replies that she just spoke to him on the phone saying goodbye. "What did she say goodbye to you?" And Santiago said, "I don't know. I noticed she was very strange. If you see Letty, please tell her I was trying to call her." Later that evening, we went to bed. Don't remember the time, but somebody knocks on the door again. This time was Letty's brother, Pepe. It seemed very strange to me that he should come to the house. It was already late, probably around 11 p.m. I opened the door and I see him crying. My immediate reaction was to ask him what was going on, and he told me, it's Letty. She was taken to the hospital. I asked him, but why? What happened? And he tells me, she drank poison. I was in shock by hearing that. My head couldn't think clearly. Poison? What type of poison? Where did she get it? Was it by mistake? Was it an accident? Pepe replies, no, it was not an accident. She did it to herself. She's at the difficult age. She got into a fight with my mom. She asked her to borrow the truck to go to an event. I don't know where. My mom told her no, and they argued. She angrily went to her room. Then we went to sleep, and about an hour later, Letty started to scream. We thought she had had a nightmare, but no. She did tell us herself that she had taken poison. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The only thing I said was, please let me know immediately as soon as you have information and which hospital is she at so we can go and see her. He left and we went to sleep. It would be about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when they came to my house again and knocked on the door. I get up and with my mom behind me, we open the door and I see that was Letty's mom. And I ask her, how is she? I see her face looked so calm and she says, she died. Tells me not to tell anybody that Letty had passed away. At that moment, I felt a bucket of cold water run through my body and I couldn't believe what I was listening. Her mom told me she didn't make it to the hospital. She died in the ambulance. Inside, I had a feeling of not being able to believe what was happening in a mixture of astonishment. The rest of the night, I couldn't sleep. I dreamt about her. I thought it had been a nightmare when I woke up the next day, but the sad reality was that she had died. A few minutes before we left for school, Letty's mom came to my house and said, if somebody asks you, you're gonna say that Letty fell off her bike. But at the moment, I don't want you to tell anyone anything. What she asked me was very strange, but I had no choice but to tell her that I won't say a word. Being in school, I couldn't concentrate. Armida, my visitor, ended up leaving because it affected her to see me very sad. A couple of days went by and Letty's mom came to my house and said, tomorrow we're gonna bury her and you won't be able to see her. I told her, but why not? I want to say goodbye to her. She replied, it's just that I made her vomit, which caused her mouth and lips to become burned. Due to her condition, a closed casket funeral is required. Besides, I couldn't buy a casket for her size. Such gruesome details that caused me too much pain and too much trauma. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The next day, I needed to tell somebody and decided to tell another mutual friend about Letty's death. We went to the funeral home and her mom was mad and asked us to leave. She was very upset. On the day of the burial, there were only 6 people in attendance. My mom, my stepfather, one of my sisters, Letty's parents and her brother. No one else. Everything happened very quickly, and when we returned to the house, the neighbors had already found out what was going on, as they saw us coming back from the cemetery. A few days had passed and I tried to have a quiet life, a normal life. But living next to the cemetery was easy for us, her friends, to visit her tomb. We realized that her tomb was a simple concrete slab, without any crucifixes or anything. Well, as I mentioned earlier, her mom didn't believe in God. One day, Letty's friend and I came up with the idea of making a wooden cross and going to put it on her grave. I'm sure she would have liked something like that. Letty's mom one day came to my house very upset, asking why we had put the cross on there. She behaved like an insane person. She used to come to my house and invite me to dinner or lunch and would tell Pepe, Letty's brother, to go and get bread for dinner and to bring the bread that Letty liked, like she was alive. Then Letty's mom would start crying inconsolably and she would scream at me, Here, Here at the table in front of me, she drank the poison. I didn't know it. I didn't imagine it. That gave me too much trauma and a lot of stress. I got to a point where I had to hide from her, but she was looking for me. And I think she chose me to be able to feel relieved because I was the only one who had known what had really happened. One of those visits to Letty's mom's house, she tells me with all details what had happened the day that Letty passed away. It turns out that Letty asked her mom for the band to go to an event. Her mom said no, and they start arguing, just like Pepe, her brother, had told me. And Letty went to her bedroom and locked herself in. Her mom reprimands her and tells her that she has to come to the kitchen to have dinner with no excuse. Letty said that she was not hungry. Her mom lectured her and said that no tantrums are allowed. That's when Letty came out from her bedroom, but already had a glass in her hands, which obviously already had the poison in it. She poured herself milk and put a lot of sugar in it. Then, in front of his mom and brother, takes it. She goes to sleep, and in less than an hour later, her screams are heard. And this is when her mom and brother go to her bedroom and she tells them that she had drank poison. When Letty was in the ambulance, her mom was holding her hand. There was a point that she couldn't talk due to her condition, but she asked her mom for forgiveness. I want to emphasize that Letty used to talk a lot about death, and she always made comments like, "Oh, look, when I die, I want you to comb your hair like that," she used to say to another mutual friend. There were certain signs that we never managed to pay attention to, and this is where the unexplained begins. A couple of months after Letty's death, we had moved out the house. Everything was okay, but one day, while I was asleep, I woke up in the middle of the night. I started to feel something strange. I started to look around. It was something that wouldn't let me sleep. I felt the presence of something or someone. I had never experienced that feeling in my life. It was as if someone was standing right out of my bed watching. I grabbed the blankets and pushed them all the way up. That day, the night seemed so long. I didn't sleep at all. The next day, I had to get up for school and everything was going normal. Again, in the night, while I was asleep, I woke up in the middle of the night. I feel like something is not letting me sleep. I feel like someone is there. Was a weird feeling. My heart was pounding and I was saying to myself, what is this? Why am I feeling this? I tried to get relaxed to be able to sleep, but I just couldn't. Several days went by feeling the same sensation every night. Until one day I said to myself, what is happening to me? I'm going crazy. I need to understand what is this. Immediately is when Letty came to my mind. And I felt a terrible, terrible fear. A fear I can't describe. As I loved her so much and her death hurt me, that scared me to death. It was something unknown. I was thinking, Letty took her own life. Nobody offered a mass for her. Nobody prayed a rosary for her. She had such a tragic death. Letty, being Catholic, she would have loved it. I told myself that, what if she's battling herself to find that light? I had all kind of thoughts, 1,000 things, such as that we were taught that it's a mortal sin to take our own life. Only God can do it. I refused to believe that even when she had been in life a good daughter, good sister, and a beautiful human being, her soul was suffering. There were several days that I was sleeping in my bed. I felt that fear so strong that one day I convinced myself that it was her. She came to visit to me. She came to ask me for help. There was no other explanation. I'm 100% sure it was her. Such was the way I felt about her that I spoke to her. I said, Letty, if it's you, please don't show up, because if you do, I'm gonna have a heart attack. I am really scared. Please. When I was talking with her, I was scared to death. Didn't even want to look next to my bed. I just repeated that over and over again and covered myself with the blankets all the way up and kept asking, please, please, you're not gonna show up to me because if you do, I'm gonna die of a heart attack. I never said anything, my mom or anyone else. Everything to me was trauma. I couldn't understand what was going on. It wasn't just the fact that I felt those presence in the night, but also that I remembered everything that happened to me. Her mom told me so many details about how she died. It was so terrible for me. It was a traumatic event. One day, I remember very well that I woke up in the morning and I told myself, oh, at night I was able to sleep. I didn't wake up. Nothing happened. I didn't feel anything. After that day, when I spoke to Letty, asking her for not to appear to me, I never experienced that feeling again. Never. Then over time, I found out that her high school friends held a mass for her. Some time passed and I moved to another city to live, far away. And then I learned that several tragedies happened in that family. Letty's mom apparently passed away of a heart attack, and her brother, I heard that he had a car accident and died. All these tragedies in a few years. My poor friend came to me to ask for help and she couldn't. Writing this story, I feel sorry, very sorry for her, but I really believe that right now she is with God and she's resting, and I'm sure she's right now in heaven. If you like the episode, please share it with someone you know loves paranormal or unexplained stories. Follow me on different podcast platforms to receive notifications whenever a new episode comes out. Follow me on social media where I share previews of new episodes before they are published. Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube as unexplained.enigma. Facebook, Chronicles of the Unexplained. Thanks for listening and see you all in the next unexplained story.